Hello, everyone. I know I am going live a little bit late tonight, but hopefully I can still catch some of you. I'm sorry if I missed you. Just remember that you can see the schedule of when I'm going to go live on my website. And next week is going to be our first members only live night. It has been a while since we've done some of those. So if you're wanting to catch that, please do. And you can sign up through Patreon. So those memberships are no longer through YouTube, but they are through Patreon, and you can join there, and just make sure you select the tier that is for the live nights, and then you're going to get all your notifications in there, and you'll be able to see the link when I do go live. Hey, Taylor. So I'm out of breath because I'm running behind. I'm sorry. My husband got home really late tonight, and we had a late dinner and toilet overflowed. It's been a night. So yeah, let's see. I'm going to set my timer for our member reading right now. And we are going to jump into the outline, or like the theme of tonight. And basically I just asked Spirit what they wanted me to talk about. And I'm sort of feeling like they wanted me to talk about manifesting and just if we're trying to get certain things achieved, like how can we go about doing that? So I am going to do a message for everyone, just like I do at the top of every live night. That way too, if you miss it, there's still something for you. And then we'll jump into individual readings. Kind of sleepy, but glad to be here. Yay! I'm not liking my hair. Hang on, I gotta fix it. It looks good in the mirror, but not on camera. So yeah, we're not gonna do piles tonight. But I did just pull a couple cards for one reading. Not a reading question. Feel free to ask. That is a lot of times what I do on the live nights. Good time to ask me questions. All right, that's better. I like the signature ponytails. It is my bad hair day go-to. All right, so message for everyone. I kind of asked, like, what do we need to know right now? And then I pulled the card, last quarter moon in Libra, make time for self-love. And I've been getting this message like all throughout the last week, so it did not surprise me that this came up. To me, this is sort of saying like, hey, our lives are getting a lot crazier. We're starting to see a ramp up of energy. We're wanting to go out. We're wanting to do more. We're excited about things, but we also need to remember to make time for like ourselves. Personally, I really like to make time for myself at the end of the night, and I kind of have like a nightly routine established. I'm actually planning on turning that into a vlog here soon. I'm really excited about it. Kind of like lightning bolt idea hit me, and I'm going to be sharing kind of like a night vlog of like what I do. So let me know if you're excited about that, or you're like, I don't care. Shut up. Hey, Cheyenne. Hey, Michael. Ooh, udon soup, yummy. Hey, Jordan. So yeah, making time for self-love. We need to be doing that. Again, mine is like end of the night, but some people like really like to wake up early and prioritize that time in the morning for them. And this could be working out. This could be meditating. This could be journaling. It could be just like sitting and having a cup of coffee and just like hanging out on your porch. It's whatever you do to kind of connect with yourself and your thoughts, unencumbered by like TV, your cell phone, like whatever it is. And if you already know what that is, throw it up in the comments, because I'm finding like a lot of people just don't know what that is. And so ideas absolutely help other people. I'm trying to think of what else I do. I also turn on like ambient music, and I just listen to like music stations. So that way I'm not like watching TV, but I'm sort of setting the mood of like what I want. Did I already say like taking like baths or showers are also great. It's basically like, what do you do to connect to yourself, to really like connect to those like thoughts and emotions and really process like what you're going through every single day. So making time for self-love is what our guys wanted to talk about. I'm sort of getting it, and this is because like the energy is ramping up. We're doing a lot more, but that doesn't mean we should sacrifice, that time that we have in our day for ourselves. Cheyenne loves vlogs. Oh, I'm so happy. My vlogs do so poorly, and it makes sense because like they're like maybe 1/10 of the videos that I put out there, so most people aren't expecting it and they don't really care about me. They just like want the information. But I love making vlogs. I'm currently making a Sabbath vlog of the 8 Sabbats and like how I'm celebrating that. Originally, I said that it wasn't going to come out till the end of the year, but I'm actually thinking about doing it in 2 parts. Like the first half of it would come out this summer, and then the second half of it would come out this fall, or sorry, winter. So that way you have 4 and 4 in one video. Because I'm kind of thinking it's going to be long. So anyways, going to be doing that nightly routine though. Let's see. Seeing your setup really helped me understand mine. Like I'm just assuming like you're talking about my filming setup, but let me know what setup you're talking about. I appreciate the feedback. All right, that was I put the member timer really early tonight. So Taylor, you were the closest one who commented. So Taylor, when we get into the individual readings, you will get your free member one tonight. That is a perk from being like the 99-cent member, the green the people with the green and owls next to them. Jeffrey, really quick. My 17-year-old and 11 are intuitive. Should I mentor her with the 90-day cards? As father and daughter. Ooh, that's a good question. I almost should make a whole vlog around this. Because I think I've talked about like, is your kid intuitive? And like, I've only made a video on if your kid is seeing things, like what should you do? But I've never talked about it if like you think you're intuitive, like where do you start? I definitely think that you can use those 90-day cards, especially because they're so heavily focused on meditation. I think that's absolutely fantastic for some of the kids that are out there. They might just need those basic skills. You might just like screen it ahead of time and make sure that like you're cool with whatever they're doing. I can't remember I'm pretty sure none of the cards go into mediumship, but just like double check it and make sure you're okay with it. My biggest thing with teaching children about their intuitive abilities is to teach them about boundaries and like how to shut off their psychic ability, because I think they're naturally more intuitive than us. And so if you kind of get them into this and then they can't shut it down, it's like suddenly your problem. So I would say too, if you feel like you're pretty good at turning off your ability, then awesome. Yeah. Pass it off to your kids. I would recommend you being like stable in that first, so that if they do have problems, just like anything else you might advise your kids on, you have the background knowledge and you can be like, hey, this is what I did, or this is what I do. Too often I see parents encourage psychic abilities, but not give any sort of boundaries or groundwork. I know I'm in the middle of our group reading, sorry for those of you who are watching replay, but if you don't give any sort of structure, that can be really not helpful to kids. So hope that answers your question. Let's see. My setup is a bit messy. What did I forget? I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I was talking about your routine for like what you guys like to do to really like disconnect, get in touch with your own thoughts, emotions, intuition. It can be messy, totally can be. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about in my vlog is I'm going to be like, just so you know, this is not every night. I think there's a lot of people that put out vlogs that are like, this is me every night, and I do this so perfectly. And I will be honest and be like, no, I'm a hobo sometimes. I sit on the couch and eat ice cream, and I should be getting off my butt, but I don't. So Silly Rabbit plays music and sings to yourself to get in touch with your feelings. You take a walk, write in a journal. Oh yeah, taking a walk is great. That's a great idea. Write in a journal, play jazz or classical music while taking a shower to just relax. I do something very similar. Thank you for sharing. Let me finish these and then I'll get to your comments. Sorry. So that's what we're talking about, is making time for self-love. And I asked, okay, well, where are we at right now? And so why is this coming up? And I got the 7 of coins. This is like the 7 of pentacles. And it feels like we are a little bit stuck with like trying to manifest money. Like we're putting in, like, this could be money, job, work. Like pentacles are just like anything that's practical, like a roof over your head, stability, security, job. That's pentacles. And so 7 of pentacles, 7 of coins in this particular deck is basically saying like we're putting in the hard work. We're trying to manifest something. And I like the image on the original tarot deck a lot better, because it shows like a guy, he's like planting a garden, and there's obvious like rewards that are growing. There's big pentacles that are growing, but they're not harvested yet. They're not quite done. And so the energy of this card, the energy where we're at right now, is like we're putting in the time and the effort. It's going to manifest, but we're still growing it, and we don't have those results in hand yet. And so this to me makes sense, because it's like we're trying to manifest things. We're almost there. We're probably a little bit demotivated. We're probably just not feeling it. And we're like, I really want this to happen and change and, manifest. And so oftentimes what we do is we put in more time, more effort. We stress ourselves out even more. But we need to be doing the opposite. We need to be going and making time for self-love. And I asked, how can we do this? And I got balancing act. So this is just literally balancing your time, making sure that, you have that gung-ho time. We are in Aries season now. So like we're all going to be feeling that naturally, where we're just like, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. We're going to check like a lot off of our to-do list. But then again, making sure you have that time in the day to process your emotions. It's not just like self-care in like I'm going to go like zone out and watch TV. Like it can be that sometimes, but really I see self-care time as like dealing with the stuff that's giving you anxiety, that's giving you, I shouldn't say that it's all bad, because sometimes it's good. It's like sitting down and like, making a gratitude list for the day or something like that. So it's less about distractions and more about getting in tune with yourself. And we can do that by just balancing, like literally just carving out a time in your day where you're just like, from this time to this time, there's going to be empty space, no plans. Nighttime just works best for me because I have a son and he wakes up really early and he goes to bed a little bit earlier. So I just have that alone time as soon as he goes to bed. You'll see that in the vlog. And then I asked, again, how can we manifest or just work with this self-love time in order to manifest the things that we want? And I got Magical Map Shifter. And this card is basically saying you guys can manifest anything that you want. This guy blindfold over his face, and this card is all about like whatever you think in your mind, you will bring into reality. And so part of this is just like getting rid of the self-limiting beliefs of I can't do it, or that I can't manifest these things that I'm working on. It's like the energy of the 7 of coins is like, you see, or you can't see the fruits of your labors yet, but they're there, they're working, they're growing, but you're getting demotivated because you just can't see it yet. So if we do all of this, if we keep all of this in mind, the outcome is going to be 6 of Swords, which I thought was a very interesting card to come out, because this card is kind of about like you're finally leaving a past behind. You are moving on. Like these people are kind of getting in this boat and they are crossing rocky waters, but it's a lot calmer on the other side. They're leaving a bad chapter behind. So what I'm getting with this is that, so for some of us, the bad chapter is very like literal, like your finances are literally going to improve, or you might be moving forward into a new job. For some of you, it might just be that you're letting go of self-limiting beliefs, or letting go of the fact that you're not taking care of yourself. And then life becomes a lot calmer. And I really like this card because it's really about permanently leaving a certain part of us behind, or a certain phase of our life or chapter of our life behind. We really don't go back. In this card, this is saying like, this is done. It's not going to come up again. So I hope that you can find some relief in that you are moving forward because you are taking time for this self-love, and things are going to be a lot sunnier on the other side because of it. Awesome. I wanted to just do kind of a shorter group reading tonight because I started so late, but I hope that brings you all some clarity. And just remember to, even if you don't get a reading tonight, we are doing the member lives again. You can sign up through Patreon for that. And our next member live is next Tuesday. So if you're like really wanting more time with me, absolutely sign up for that, because we will be live again next week. But for members only. Let's see. So Taylor says, oh, and Taylor got our member reading, so she is going to get the first reading for tonight. That's a great point. Yeah, physically, like changing your environment, going somewhere different, especially if you like work from home, is super important. I'll think on one. Let's see. I do the exercises that you do, and she can do them quite well. I'm not surprised. I think younger people are really good at it. Jordan, the cat. And thank you, Jordan, for joining. Now you have an owl. I'm surprised I didn't switch to these owls sooner. I like them so much more. The eyeballs were just too hard to see. I mean, these are really tiny too, but if you go on the Patreon, you can see the larger versions of them that I had designed, and it's pretty cool. I think this will help her manage her emotions that are so oversensitive. Yes, that is something. So I've recorded a video on boundaries. You're going to see that really soon. Is that this week's video? I don't think so. I can't remember. Or maybe it is. Yeah, I think it is. So Friday's video is going to be about boundaries. And I talk about, you know, when you set energetic boundaries in psychic work, it translates over into your personal life. And it can absolutely help with being super sensitive, super empathic. So that'll be a good video where I talk about that. And I kind of explain that a little bit better. So new video about boundaries might be perfect timing for you, Jeffrey. Hobo. Oh my gosh. The reason why I don't do more vlogs is like literally my day-to-day look is like 10 times worse than this. And I'm just like, I don't want the world to see what I look like when I'm not dressed up. For me, I try best to meditate in a kneeled position, connecting with my chakras and focusing on various rituals. That's great. They often recommend meditating in a different position than you like sleep or rest in, just to kind of tell your body, hey, I'm meditating. I'm doing something different. Haha, seriously thinking about that now. Magical rituals help with your psychic ability a fair bit. Yes, I think that's absolutely the case. And it wasn't until I started learning about a little bit about Wiccan practices that I'm like, oh, I've been doing a lot of these unknowingly. A lot of it gets a little crisscrossed because usually a lot of people that are psychics are also Wiccan or are practitioners in some sense of the word. Hello, Angela. Welcome. I felt the Aries energy heavily the past 2 days. So much more energy. Yes, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it feels like this is the start of the year. Not January. Like, just season-wise, it just feels like the start of the year. I'm trying to catch up. Let's see. Jordan, I got a question. What can I do for my spiritual protection? Every now and then you face spiritual intrusions in my home. I'm going to just tell you, Jordan, short answer is boundaries. And I am going to have an updated video on boundaries this week. A lot of my like essential videos people don't watch anymore because they're really, really old. And I put them in like several videos. I don't know why I did that back then, but it's just not clear. So basically what I've been doing, and you've probably seen this with like my basic psychic protection video, I basically took a lot of those old videos, combined the information, but then also expanded on it a lot more. So boundaries video is that same thing. And it's going to be coming your way this week. You saw my older boundaries video. Oh, and that's a great point too, Michael. Like if you are not energetically in the right place, you will have intrusions. And if you guys listen to my podcast, I do talk about, or I did talk about like the psychic experiences that I've had. And in part 2 of that video, I talked about basically when I was giving birth, I had something happen mid-birth that was probably the equivalent to an intrusion. I usually don't use that term, but it's basically the same thing. And so if you're curious about that, that's like a perfect example of me just totally not being energetically in the right place, even though the majority of the time I am super good about my boundaries and not letting that stuff in. Jeffrey likes hiking in large parks. Ooh, martial arts training. Capricorn here. Oh, I know how you feel, Jordan. Hello, everyone. Okay, so... Oh, I forgot to put my little thing in here. Hang on. Usually I'm better about pinning this stuff, but I was wanting to get in so quickly. Did I pin the right one? Yes. Okay. So how this works, if you are new, basically we do donated readings. If somebody donates, then they kind of get to the top of a list. Once I finish everyone's donations, we do kind of free guessing game readings. So I don't think anyone has donated, but Taylor did get our member free reading for the night. And that's apparently for Taylor. But I'll do a guessing game while we wait for Taylor's question. Let's talk about... Why am I so scatterbrained? The energy is funky town. All right. I am thinking of a color. If you can think of the color that I'm thinking of, then you get the reading. Going to listen to the podcast as I walk to class tomorrow morning. It's a heavy one, I will say. I give a lot of disclaimers. But thank you for listening, Cheyenne. I appreciate you. Oh, Michael, you got it right away. Michael Joy got it. It was green. Jordan, you were this close. Michael, let me know what question you have. Michael Joy. I feel like do we have more than Michael in here? And then I'm still waiting on Taylor. So if you're wanting to ask questions, you can either donate so that you don't have to wait, or you can play a guessing game reading. Oh, that's a good point too, Silly Rabbit. Sometimes it takes an intrusion to realize you need more rest. And that is exactly what happened with my birth. I was so tired, so exhausted, so mentally just not there, or even thinking about protecting myself. And basically something came in and it was a little freaky. And then later it followed me around after my son was born. Really freaked me out. I had a really hard time getting rid of it, but it came about because I was just not in a good place. But now, most of the time, 99% of the time, nothing really gets into my circle because I'm so adamant about it being so strong. Your higher self 111. I really like your channel. Thank you. I've been working on this channel for years. Years. And it only feels like this year and last year people are really starting to find me. But it makes me excited. I'm just glad to help people out there. Soon I'll get into Tai Chi and Qigong. Yes, I've heard so many good things about both. I know a lot of people that have gotten into it. It's very much like working with the energy that you might work with in Reiki. It's like working with universal energy, but in a very physical way. Did I miss your question? I don't know. What was my question? Oh, you mean the reading question? Yes, we just did that. Sorry, got lost thinking. I would essentially like confirmation that I'm on the right path with my classes and groups. Okay, and I don't know if you saw, Taylor, but when I was talking about you and shuffling, this card fell out, and this card is slow and steady. So I'm actually taking that as confirmation, and you're probably just not feeling it because it's taking so long. And again, that's that 7 of Pentacles energy that I talked about in the group reading. It's like feeling like, well, I'm not seeing the outcome. I'm not seeing the results. And it's because you're in the middle of it. You're in the middle of putting in the work and the time. And so you can get really demotivated in that in-between space. Let me pull another card, though. I'm just going back to your question. So to me, this is like, yes, it's taking some time, so try not to lose hope or sight of what you... Ooh, they're sticky. Okay. Practice gratitude and embrace the flow of life. To me, this is, you're definitely on the right path, but just when it sucks, try to remember to enjoy it. And practicing gratitude, you know, when we start to focus on all the things we don't have or where we're not at, life gets pretty crappy. And so focusing on the things that make you happy, the things that are going well, can really change your perspective. And then what it ends up doing is it attracts more abundance to you. And then this other card, embrace the flow of life. To me, I'm kind of feeling like they're just trying to say like this is going to take time, and that's okay. Embracing the ups and downs is part of what you're supposed to learn with this journey, slow and steady again. Because not everything is just like instant manifestations. And maybe you're supposed to learn a little bit of patience in this whole journey as well. Because I feel like even after you get to the goal of like what you want, things still might kind of be a little bit slow. And so they're kind of trying to prepare you and be like, sometimes things don't happen like super fast, and that's okay. And you have to be okay with things being slow. But I feel like the only times that this really like gets us down is when, again, we're not practicing to love our life in between. And so to me, this is like self-care time. This is going out and having fun while we're waiting for this thing to manifest. I feel like when you have tunnel vision and you're just kind of, excuse me, only focused on that one thing that you want, it's really easy to feel like it's taking forever. It's like, what's the phrase? Watched pot never boils. But if you're over here doing other things while you're waiting to boil, it's like you'll have a lot more fun in the process of waiting. So like I would always say, are you taking time for you? Are you taking time to have fun? Are you taking time to appreciate what is good in your life right now? I feel like some of that is for you, Taylor, of my little rant that I just went on. But also I feel like that's for some other people here too. All right, so that was our member reading. And if you sign up for just the little $1 membership through YouTube, I haven't decided if I should completely take it away if it's confusing with the Patreon. But right now I'm keeping it, and it basically gives you the opportunity for one person to get a free reading on my live nights. But the rest, again, are on Patreon. So Michael is asking, and Michael got our guessing game reading. Any messages about romantic prospects? Hang on 1 second. Okay. So I laughed because I pulled the same card again. Make time for self-love. Before I read that, I'll read the tarot card that I got. I got 5 of coins. And this is being in that headspace where like we feel like nothing is working out. And more specifically, when you think about your romantic relationships, like this is your energy. You're like, oh, I'm desolate, I'm cold, I'm going to be lonely for like ever. And I feel like this is kind of your mentality, is you're just very down about it. And I think rightfully so too. Like I'm not trying to like shame you or anything for that. Things have been very challenging. That's like the number 5 is a lot of challenges. And then making time for self-love, this is just saying like, hey, we need to spend more of that time with ourselves, going through our emotions, going through blocks that we have around romantic stuff, like making plans, like really thinking it through, like, how can I manifest this? What should I be doing? And then I asked, okay, from there, like, what can he do to kind of manifest those romantic prospects? And I got the magic prayer card. And this is basically setting your intention, like saying, hey, this is what I want and this is what I hope for. But I think the reason why, and I think you're doing this, but I just don't think it's as good as it could be. And I think it's because you're not spending time taking care of yourself. So it's almost like your energy is low. You're kind of counteracting the intentions you're putting out because you're also saying, I don't deserve it. Things are tough. Like there's some mental stuff in the background here that's kind of keeping you from manifesting this. So this is really saying, take some time mentally to figure this out and then come back to it with a new, fresh intention. And maybe during this like self-care time, you're going to realize, you know what, the thing I think I wanted is not what I wanted. And then it becomes like a lot clearer. Not saying you don't want a romantic relationship. I just feel like it's a lot of old past stuff that you're kind of letting get in your way from being able to manifest something new. I also feel like they're just giving me like logistically, like you feel like you can't go out or you can't do something or you can't sign up for something because the world is just, there's too many people, there's not enough is more, I think, what you're like telling yourself. And it's like, how do I feel like you're overwhelmed by all the potential possibilities, but at the same time, like all the no possibilities. Like it feels like you could date so many people if you like got onto an app, and it's like, how do I possibly know I'm getting the right one? But then it's also, there's nobody around me, like I don't even think I could get a date. It's like, what are those emotions that are there and how can you kind of release those? I think that's where they want you to start first, is up here. It's like, what intention are you sending out? Awesome. Ah, my squeaky wheel. Jordan, to answer your question, how can you rest when you have an intrusion? I think this boundaries video is going to come out with perfect timing because you can absolutely do it, something, enforce spiritual protection. But if you are telling yourself that if I don't enforce spiritual protection 24/7 and I'm not allowed to get rest, you are giving that power. You are giving that energy power. And you're basically saying, if I don't mentally take care of this 24/7, you can take over my space. And so think about the intention that you're putting there. Really, when you set boundaries, you set them, you believe in them, and then you walk away from it because you trust that you said it and you said it correctly. Obviously, there's cases within that. I know I'm being a little bit black and white about it, but you can always like go see somebody else, ask for help, yada yada. I saw colors and missed it. Yeah, we did one guessing game. And yeah, crystals did help me also when I was really struggling. I just found out there. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up on these comments because I see somebody donated and I'm trying to find it. And people that are talking about intrusions, I really see this as letting negative energy in. It could be a spirit. It could just be generic energy. It could be an energy of another person. Intrusions are basically like unwanted negative energy. But it can come from all sorts of different sources, which can be the confusion with that name. I'm glad I'm editing that video this week because it seems like we all need it. All right. Challenging is a good word. All right. Thank you, Taylor. Think worried about enjoying some parts because other things are not going well. Okay, and this is about your illustrating. Oh, so do you not have any other questions? That was just a thanks. I've been worried about enjoying some parts because other things are not going well. I'm just gonna ask like why those things aren't going well, so then maybe you have a little bit more of like a justification. And I'm hearing like it's other people. It's like you're on the right path, but other people's junk is kind of getting into your energy and messing up your course. I think you're also just moving. I think other people are moving quickly, and because other people are moving quickly and you're taking time, it's just like things aren't matching up and things kind of collide sometimes. Like in an ideal world, there would be no other people here to get in our way, or change up our plans. But like sometimes you could be doing everything perfectly, but somebody hits you with their car, and it's not because you manifested it, it's because they were being dumb and they like drove into your car. You know what I mean? That's not a very good example, but like that's the energy that I'm getting, Taylor, is it's not that it's anything you're doing wrong. Sometimes it's just like the universe hands you a poop sandwich and like everyone else around you is going through something and you just happen to be there when that happened, if that makes sense. Hello, Tara Lynn. I'm working on my self-worth. Well, that sounds like a great place to start. And you know what, Michael, they're also telling me like you do not have to be perfect for like, you don't have to be perfectly 100% worthy of like feeling yourself before you can manifest a relationship. A lot of times we think that like we have to be perfectly gotten rid of every single block that's in our way and then we can manifest that thing. Like they're trying to say you can have that at the same time. But it's almost like because you have those blinders on, it's a lot harder for you to manifest what you're going after. Ooh, your higher self. What's your future doing tarot reading? Let's see. I'm going to use tarot. They're telling me to ask if you've taken a class. And like the answer, I don't need to know, but they're saying like if the answer is no, I haven't taken a class, okay, then that's your first place to start. And then if the answer is yes, I've already taken one, then it's like, what more do you need? But let's see right now. Okay, that makes sense. So I pulled the 3 of Wands. And to me, this woman is kind of just climbing up the ladder. She's doing the work. She's putting in the time and the energy, but she's not quite there yet. So this is probably like your energy right now with like your tarot stuff. It's like, there's like an area that you can improve and you're working towards that. And maybe that's just in the sense of like providing readings to others, because that's what I kind of feel like you want. Ooh, I love this card. And then I got the 9 of Cups. There's a spider crawling all around, and it's a big spider. We're going to start entering in the warmer months, and these bugs are going to be back, and I'm going to be screaming in my lives. What was I saying? So yeah, presently 3 of Wands. I feel like you're putting in the work. You're not there yet, but this is kind of like, don't give up. Like, look at how far you've come. Like, you shouldn't get demotivated because you've put in so much work. Like, you've climbed this ladder quite a ways. This might mean that, the end goal might change. You might decide to do something different, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't like follow what you're excited about. And then I asked what the like future look like, and I'm also going to ask like if there's like any obstacles you need to like pay attention to. And the 9 of Cups, to me, I feel like, this is really a card about intuition, and the fact that there's like these 2 people here just like totally in love and like they're touching on each other. Like, I feel like this is you and you're able to help other people with your vision. the fact that it's the 9 of Cups, though, just makes me feel like the plans are not solidified yet. Like you might have an idea of what this looks like, but it's going to change. So like go after the goal that's there, that's motivating you, that's positive, that's keeping you moving forward, because it's going to keep you moving forward. But just know that when you get there, there might be like a new ladder that you want to climb. You might want to go a different direction with it. Like I feel like what this is saying is like it's going to evolve, but the more important thing here is just to pursue it and then find where it's going to change, because I feel like you're going to be really happy here, maybe providing readings for other people, but you might like hit a ceiling where you're just like, I want to improve, or maybe I want to provide this in a different way. Or maybe, what am I really getting with it? Like it feels like it providing it in a different way. Like you might do tarot with something else. And that's what you end up doing. As far as obstacles though, coming apart, this to me is saying that there's things that need to be removed. Either like it could be your mentality around it. It could just be the practical nature of it. Like maybe you're using it too much and you need to back away from it. But this is saying that there are certain parts of it that are not working right now, and those kind of need to be separated out. And then the only other obstacle that I got was commitment. Like I think that's the big thing here, is like having the commitment to stick through it. And that's what you're most worried about right now, which is why this reading is all about like following what's getting you excited, and don't worry about what the end goal looks like so much, because it's going to evolve and change. And the more important thing here is to keep you going, if that makes sense. So I hope it works well. Thank you for donating your higher self. Let me catch up on the comments. No other questions, just to thanks. Thank you, Taylor. Poop sandwich, yes. And that's from the book, I don't know if it's Get Rich Lucky Bitch or something. And she just talks about how life sometimes, or no, maybe it's Big Magic. Yeah, I think it's Big Magic, actually. And she talks about how there are things in life that are just crappy. And like, you have to weigh the crappiness sometimes. Like, everything in life does have some level of a poop sandwich with it. Like, you could work for other people, and the poop sandwich is that you have to deal with like coworkers, or you could work for yourself, and the poop sandwich is that you also have to be like your own marketing team or something like that. There's always like a poop sandwich in everything. You just have to decide which one you want to eat. Kind of how she like phrased it, and it's always stuck with me. It's such a good analogy. Sorry to reference blocks again. Watch your videos more than once. I still not. I think I answered it in the group, or sorry, the psychic development group. Bean burger sandwich. But I will say that like if you're really stuck on something too, and like none of my videos are providing answers, you guys can always book a session with me. I do have a coaching sessions. I've got one that I'm doing tomorrow. And then you can also join my Patreon, because at one of the levels I have Pick Lauren's Brain, and it's basically like a spot for you guys to just dump your questions about psychic development, not like your personal like readings. I get a personal reading. It's more about like, hey, I'm confused about this video, or I'm going through this thing. And then you guys can ask questions. And then basically every single month I do kind of a video response, and to kind of help you guys in a larger sense with coaching. And I think that's great too, because even if you don't have questions, you've got a little personalized video of me talking about very specific things, helping other people. So just recommending that if you're just having a hard time and not finding like the answers that you need. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just seeing. Jordan, did you donate again, or am I crazy? just going to check my Venmo. My Venmo like doesn't notify me sometimes. Okay, no. Hey guys, sorry I'm catching up on my comments. Y'all have me talking a lot, which I don't mind. Oh, whoever I was just talking to, take a reality check. No other questions. Let's see. Okay, so I got a donation from Kimberly. Thank you. I'm just double checking, like, Jordan, did I like totally skip a donation? I don't think I did. That reading resonated with you too, Michael. It's funny how spirit worked that way. Like literally, I watched a pick a card reading today, and it was crazy because I knew it was talking about both my work and like my cat. And so I watched it once with the perspective of it being about work, and then I watched it a second time with the perspective about it being about my cat. And it was like two completely different messages, but literally the same message, obviously, because it was one reading. And it was just mind-blowing how spirit works like that. So spirit can also completely give readings for other people when, even if it's not your reading. So Michael just got a free reading, basically. Hey, Heidi. Hello. Yeah, no, and Jeffrey, don't think that I'm at all like pushing you to do that. I'm just trying to like help in any way that I can. All right, I think I'm caught. No, I'm not caught up. What is with these? Like, sorry, my comments are dumb. It like I go to the bottom and then it like loads and it's not a continuous scroll, if that makes sense. Hello, hi from India. Hey guys, if you are just joining us, donations are wonderfully accepted. I do both Venmo or the super chat, and I get to those people first, and then we do guessing game readings. So Kimberly just donated via Venmo. Thank you, Kimberly. I just had my employee quit suddenly. I want to know if I should try to find another person or just continue solo in my current business. I'm sorry, Kimberly. I hate that. I am a small business owner too, and that is literally one of the reasons why I left that job and basically came to this. Is I love working for myself, and I hated dealing with employees. Like I hated babysitting them. It wasn't my job to manage them. Hated it. All right, so Kimberly. Wait, I need to actually ask a question before I draw the cards. Sometimes. Okay, anyway, spread to do. Let's do leaning towards that. A cool spread that I learned to do with tarot is you pull one card for, if it's like a either or situation, one card is what energy should you lean towards and what energy should you move away from, which I found is super helpful. And I pulled two major arcana cards. So this is big stuff. Honestly, Kimberly, I think it's because like this is a big turning point in your business. Like you could let it be something that totally like tanks you and really gets your motivation down, or it could be something that completely like changes your business for the better. Like I am hearing that the energy you put into it is the energy you will get out of it. So the energy that you should be leaning towards, the Hierophant. To me, usually the Hierophant card is about like entrusting in somebody that knows more than you, that like is usually like an institution or like a business, somebody, or like somebody who knows more than you. This is kind of going to like the big boss. Originally, this card used to be like the, what card did it used to be? It used to be the Pope, actually. And then when they tried to make it a little bit less Christian, it never really was Christian to begin with, but then they changed it to the Hierophant, which is kind of an interesting little story. But it's implying that you don't have all the resources you need. And so you need to kind of look into somebody that knows better than you. Which is interesting because I'm definitely getting this energy of like, don't go after another person that is like that. Like, that is not going to help you. It's almost like if you are going to employ somebody who's almost better at your job than you. But if you can't find that, you shouldn't be like scraping the bottom of the barrel is kind of what I'm getting. Really, like, the energy behind this is what you should be going after is somebody who's going to improve your business. So it doesn't matter who they are or if it's just you. It's like, who is it going to be that's going to improve it in a better way and not bring your energy down or bring the company down. It's all about improving it and not taking a step backwards. I hope that makes sense. The energy that you should move away from is judgment. And I'm getting that this is partly like judging yourself. Judging yourself for like, I feel like you feel partly responsible for their leaving and you're just like, oh, gosh, like it's almost that same energy of like, oh, maybe I should have motivated them better. Like you feel personally responsible, but at the end of the day, it's like, you're not responsible. Like, you should have somebody on your side that is only going to improve, that knows more than you, that will bring more to the table that you can bring. Like, it's only going to add versus subtract. And I got step into your power. Like, to me, I'm really feeling like the answer here is wait. Like, continue solo. But if you find somebody that's going to really bring something awesome to the table that, could help alleviate your stress in some way and is actually good at what they're doing, that you're not having to handhold or babysit them, then absolutely go for it. But right now, step into your power, have confidence in your decisions. This is Aries, first quarter moon in Aries. This is like, just get it done. Like, that's Aries attitude. Just get it done. Don't worry about it. Obviously, too, guys, with all the readings that I do here tonight, like, if it doesn't resonate, throw it away. I can be wrong. All right. Thank you, Jordan. Okay, let me scroll back up. What was Jordan's? I have another question. I've been working with this guide, A, and wanted to ask if there's any message from them. I'm being really drawn to my moon cards tonight. Woo. Those two popped out. And these both have the crown chakra on them. Like, I don't know if you can see crown chakra. One is Pisces. One is Sagittarius. Yeah, Sagittarius. I'm right. I'm getting better. First quarter moon in Sagittarius. First quarter moon in Pisces. The first quarter moons are usually... what are the first quarter moons about? I can't remember. Maybe look up the symbology of first quarter moons. I feel like that's sticking out. Maybe somebody in the comments will cover my back. Believe in your good luck. Honor your feelings. To me, I feel like this guide is trying to give you like very gentle guidance of like, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Like, I feel like the things that you don't want to do or that make you uncomfortable are kind of the things that they're pushing you towards, but they're not doing it in a way that they're like, we want you to be uncomfortable. We want you to honor your feelings and see that life isn't as like bad as you're like making it out to be. Like, let me ask for clarification. Because I'm getting like the feeling, like the clairsentient feeling. Home. Like, this card says home, but to me it's like being at home with yourself. mind, body, and soul is what I'm hearing. It's being comfortable with where you're at in all aspects of life, in your mind, in your physical state, like, your home, and then your soul just feeling like connected. And I feel like you're not quite appreciating all the good things you have. You're maybe more ruminating on all of the like little things. Every single reading I've been wanting to say this. This is not my channeled information. I am a Patreon member for Chloe Taylor, and she channeled like a pick a card, and I read it, or I listened to it today, and it just blew my mind. And I think it's got me completely thinking about things differently. So I'm wanting to give credit where credit is due, but I feel like this is partly for you, Jordan, but partly for everyone else. And she talked about like, what if our self-limiting beliefs were not seen as something that we need to get rid of, but instead something that we should embrace and celebrate? And more so in the sense of like, they're coming up in a very particular moment in our life for a reason. And so she gave the example of like how, a self-limiting belief or something that we like struggle with is maybe scrolling too much, on Instagram. And so we're like, oh, I need to completely get rid of that habit. And she was saying like, what if instead you were supposed to be doing that? What if you were supposed to be scrolling because there was a piece of information there? I'm trying to remember the other example she gave, but she was trying to frame it into more of like, instead of completely getting rid of it, it's like, how can we work with it? How can we see it and be like, oh, thank you. Like, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm not going to like try to get rid of these thoughts. I'm just going to manage them. And I feel like the expectations just kind of lower. And I feel like that's kind of like what's coming through partly. I feel like I'm not doing it justice. If you're like really resonating with it, you could sign up for her Patreon. It's like her most recent video is pile number 3. I remember. But it just blew my mind the way that she framed it. So honoring your feelings and believing in good luck. I just feel like this is trying to see what's good in your life and kind of get out of this mode of like always trying to get rid of the negative, and then maybe instead saying, what is this doing for me rather than what is it doing to me? But really being at home with your mind, body, and soul. Let me just read your question one more time to make sure I'm not missing anything. It's like very gentle. They're wanting you to be gentle with yourself. I feel like you just go too hard on all of this stuff, and they're like, it's okay. Like, I'm hearing psychology. Like, I feel like you look more at the spiritual and less at the psychological parts of your mind and like why something may be happening, and maybe not like attributing to like it to being like anxiety, like, oh, maybe this is anxiety that I'm dealing with, instead of, oh, this is a spiritual intrusion. I feel like if you understood how your mind works and you forgave yourself a little bit more, I keep going with this because I feel like this is a lot of people. If you forgave yourself for it, I feel like it would just make a lot of it a lot easier. I hope that makes sense. My dog out there barking. I kill with kindness. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I love that you guys talk while I'm talking. You're not all bored. You're welcome, Kimberly. You finally got your first tarot deck. Woohoo! Anything I should do as good spiritual hygiene? Honestly, like, I do not go through and like cleanse my decks like everyone says. Like, I do set a little intention, and I always say something to the effect of like, this is my deck now, and I always use the first card pull to ask, what should I use this deck for? And then I try to remember that, so then I'm like, okay, the energy of this deck is like when I need to talk about this type of stuff. But some people might put it out in the moon to cleanse it. Other people might smudge it. Some people just like knock on it and say an intention out loud. But really, it's all about your intention. And I'm so intention based that I'm always just like, I'm protected. Duh. Like, this is how it works. So I'm like, so probably almost like, I shouldn't say naively, but like so purposely believing in my own strength as like a boundary protector that like I just never let anything in. Maybe it's because I ignore it all the time, but either way, whether you're doing it a lot or doing it like hardly at all, I'm giving off the wrong impression here. But the point is that the belief is everything. So you could believe it and it might not look like you're doing a whole lot, or you could do a whole lot and believe in it. It's up to you. But I do have an older video on like basics of like tarot, like how to get started with it. But that's exciting. I think I remembered you talking about wanting to get one. Which one did you get, silly rabbit? First quarter is a good time to check in with your intentions before ramping up again and adjusting to align again. Thank you, Taylor. I think that totally makes sense with like Jordan's reading for sure. It's like checking your course, making sure that you're being gentle with yourself before like going gung-ho into like some sort of spiritual work. I remember the first time I bought my deck too. It was so exciting. Chloe Taylor. Yes, I love her stuff. Love all of her content. I'm obsessed. I think she is a fantastic reader. I think she's one of the few psychics that I've found out there that like does it all right. Like boundaries, protection, really sets aside like her ego to channel. Like love her stuff. I love that first card pull idea. Yeah, I've used that on and I was just called to do that. Busy people need to know how to fast cleanse. Exactly. And it's more of like I believe in it so much that I might, there might be a ton of negative energies around them, but because I said that intention so firmly, I just don't even give them the time of day. Thank you, Simi. Hi there. How can I attract more financial abundance in my life? If I have any blocks, how can I overcome them? Any guidance is helpful. Simi, I will say at the beginning of this, I did a group reading for everybody, and it was like exactly that kind of information. So when I'm done with this, maybe go back and listen to it for like even more information, but I'll do obviously like one right now for you. Sorry, my guys are talking to me. They're telling me to like stop with the individual readings and like do some spirit channeling. Because there's a spirit over here that wants to talk. Maybe. I don't know. I guess we could. Is it a good spirit? Yes and no. Okay. Simi. And just remember, next Tuesday will be our member-only night. So the nice thing about that is there will probably be way less people in there. So that's a great time to chat with me. Usually in the past, I basically gave out readings to everyone until we were done with the night. But part of that is going to be, I forgot to mention, that some months we're going to do Zoom nights or like face-to-face nights. So we actually can like see each other because I know you guys have been requesting that for like the longest time. But I didn't want it to be like open to everybody because we don't want like creeps showing up. Not that I think any of you are, but like the trolls that like come in. I don't want that like link to be public to everybody. But some of the nights we are going to be doing like face-to-face nights. It could just be that we're hanging out. It could be that we're like actually practicing reading each other. Like I'll let you know ahead of time and we'll all like take a poll of what you guys want to do. But I will say not next week. Next week will just be kind of another YouTube one because I want to give some time for people to join the memberships. But next month, we are definitely doing our first like face-to-face live. And I'm so excited. I'm just going to mostly do a hangout and chat and get advice from you guys, talk to you guys about my channel, what you want to see as members. So if you want to be a part of like influencing that, definitely join because next month we will be doing kind of like a face-to-face talk. And I'm so excited to meet some of you. All right. You don't have to turn on your video if you don't want to. All right. So, sorry, Simi. Simi, I did pull the sun card. So like this to me already is saying financial abundance is coming. Like the sun, if you get it anywhere in your reading, this is basically saying like the rest of this stuff is little, it's coming. And I did pull this in the past, which is interesting. And I specifically asked, like, what do we need to know about your past that is currently affecting your future? And to me, I'm kind of getting like, you've had moments of financial abundance. Hang on, let me read these other two cards. Honestly, like, I'm getting only good energy. Let me just pull the obstacles really quick. Just to see if I'm missing anything. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is saying in the past, you've definitely had moments where you have been completely fine. You know, maybe not like ideal, but you can cover all of your needs at once. And so part of you in your mind is kind of like, well, was that it? Did I hit my peak? You know, like, is it never going to get as good as that again? And I think right now you're kind of working through the mental blocks of it. But right now, I feel like, because I got the 3 of coins, this is about just getting the foundation in place. Like, I don't know if you're trying to like build your own business, but this is, I like the traditional tarot way better for the pictures because it just helps me visualize it. But in the traditional tarot, this is like 3 people that are building a building together. And there's like an architect, there is like a monk, and then I think like a actual stonemason, maybe. I don't know if I'm right, but basically it's 3 different people coming from 3 very different perspectives to build the same thing. And so right now you're currently building this. Again, go to that group reading because it is like literally spot on for your reading. And it's almost like you're in a place of having to bring all this together. Maybe you're having to combine the practical side of it, but also the taking care of yourself side of it. You're bringing in a lot of different versions of yourself to make it happen, and you're trying to make it all work together. Maybe it's just not quite there yet. So it's about honing, like being able to put in the time and work and doing it, but also taking care of yourself so you don't burn yourself out. Maybe it is like working well with others too, not working well, but like just working with others, period, to help manifest these finances. Specifically hearing maybe like your partner, like don't cut that out of like your whole vision. Like you don't have to provide everything for yourself is like specifically what I'm getting. And then the future, I got the 2 of Cups. And really, this is about harmony. This is about partnership. I do feel like you are supposed to work with somebody else in some sort of capacity. This is a romantic card, so maybe it even is like with your partner. If that's not the case, you know, just throw that out. It could just be partnership in general, just asking for help, especially to bring about like your monetary goals. But this is finding balance. This is finding balance between all those versions of yourself, all the versions of the things that you need to get done to manifest that money. But this is your future. Like there is going to be that balance. You're going to have the emotional balance with like the practical. And I feel like right now it's just the emotions of like feeling like you're not going to get there is kind of in your way, especially because your obstacles, Wizard of Awareness, this is just like not believing that you can do it. And the wizard comes in to say like, hey, you have to believe that it's going to work. You have to set that intention that you will have those finances and they are going to be here. And the book that I recommend for like money blocks, like anybody out there, is it? She has 2 books and they have such similar titles, and it's not a very good marketing tactic, but she has one book called Get Rich Lucky Bitch. I think that one is more about money. And then just Lucky Bitch, that one I think is about manifesting in general. So the Get Rich Lucky Bitch specifically goes over like money blocks. And I feel like that's kind of where you need to start, Simi. If you already know what that is and you're already aware of it, it's like the continuation of working through that. And the last block that I pulled for you, dry desert. This is just knowing that you're going through a desert right now. You have to conserve your resources, but at the end of the desert, there's an oasis. Like the desert does not go on forever. Things have to change. And especially like with this sun and like he's even on an oasis. Like I feel like this is where you're walking. Wait, which way is she facing? This way. Regardless, just take the sign of having the sun in this whole reading as it's coming to you. Just know that sometimes you might have to wait. Sometimes you're going through a little bit of a dry spell, but focus on your money mentality. Some of those other things that I said. Again, maybe check out that group reading at the beginning. Alrighty. I think I'm going to squeeze in 2 more readings for tonight. I'm going to do this next one as a giveaway reading. Last one can be donation or giveaway, depending on what you guys want. Gold foil weight tarot deck. It's a nice design, sun and moon on the back, slippery, but really lovely. Okay, now I got to look at it because gold foil. Because one of the tarot decks that I really want looks something similar to that. Oh, of course, there's like 200 that pull up that have that description. I think you have to really like the visual aesthetic of it, or else you're going to hate it. Because I have one deck that's the Archangel Power Tarot, and I really like the messages and the energy behind it. But the Photoshop is like 2002 Photoshop skills. Those cards just look so bad that I hate using them. It was a surprise. Oh, yay. Hey, Laura. All right. What was I saying? We're going to do a group reading. Okay. I am thinking, or not a group reading, an individual reading. That's a guessing game. Is that too hard? Yeah, that's too hard. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm thinking of an animal. If you can guess the animal that I'm thinking of, you get a reading. And we'll do this one, and we'll do one more after that. And I hate to cut it off so early, but I started so late. I don't know why I laughed. So just thinking about sloths apparently make me laugh. Nobody's gotten it yet. Thinking of an animal. If you can guess the animal that I'm thinking of, Silly Rabbit knows where to go. Chinchilla. That wasn't it, but if you can think of the animal that I'm thinking of, then you get the reading. I always want to have music playing in the background, but I never know if it would like demonetize me once the video is like published. I don't like how quiet it is in here. I do better reading wise with music in the background. Nobody's gotten it yet. I'm thinking of an animal. If you can think of the animal that I'm thinking of, then you get the reading. How can I give you a clue? Salt and pepper. Does while live actually? Oh, like it would demonetize me while I'm live. Hint. It lives in the water. That'll narrow it down, hopefully. What are animals that are called that live in the water? There's like a name for them. I want to say amphibians, but I don't think that's right. Fish! Silly rabbit. You got it. Or wait, silly rabbit, did you get it? No, you didn't get the member reading tonight. I did very generic fish. Silly rabbit, you got it. I will do a follow-up. If you can guess the type of fish that I was thinking of, you'll get the next reading. Type of fish. Silly rabbit, let me know what your question is. Silly rabbit, I feel like you tend to guess them a lot. You had it first? Did I miss it? Excuse my squeaky. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. Laura did have it first. You know what? Laura and Silly Rabbit, you'll both get readings because I'm dumb. Yep, my understanding is it stops the stream. Well, that's good to know at least. Hello, Glitterbee. Sorry, Laura. I totally missed it. So, Laura and Silly Rabbit, one. If you can guess the type of fish I was thinking of, I guess I'm doing a third. Sometimes I miss it, but I appreciate, like, you not being a jerk. Some people will be like, oh my God, you missed it. And then it's like, well, that's not going to help me read you when you come in with that energy. You're welcome. Okay, let's think. And let me know too, did you guys do anything for the Virgo new moon? Did you do anything for spring equinox over the weekend? I don't think many people would be doing anything for Aries season, which started yesterday, but unbelievable. It's usually, like, I hate to say it, but it's usually the men that will do that. They will get like, no, but yeah, Silly Rabbit and Laura, feel free to ask your questions. I'll just go with whoever gets them first. But yeah, I didn't do anything for the full moon besides like journal. For the spring equinox, I spent a lot of time out in my garden. I got all sorts of cleaned up. You'll see that in my vlog. I also did egg divination, which was super cool. That's also going to be my vlog. I planted a bunch of seeds indoors because it's still too cold for me to do it outside quite yet. I couldn't even charge my crystals because it was raining. I heard that it was just rough full moon wise for a lot of people, but spring cleaning, woohoo! I wanted to do that, but it's still just a little bit too cold here in Colorado, but my whole plans got thrown off though because my kitty is not doing so good right now. And she basically has not been eating since this time last week. Some of you guys asked me in last week's stream, and then it got cut off. It literally got cut off right when I was talking about it, which now that I think about it, that was probably a total sign. But she's been going downhill health-wise, and I'm very sad about it. And it's been a very rough week. It's definitely going to get turned into a podcast. We're going to take her to the vet one last time tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed for us that we can kind of get it fixed, but I'm a little worried we're going to have to kind of talk about end-of-life stuff for her, which I'm really bummed out about. But the cool thing about, well, not the cool thing, one of the upsides to it is that it does help me bring new content to you guys, because as I'm going through a lot of that stuff, I end up processing by creating, and I create videos and I create content. Like when I lost my cousin in 2020, it influenced a lot of the videos that I made, and I learned a lot through like connecting with him in the spirit. So it might be the same kind of stuff happening with her. I had a dream that I was asked to help people cross over. Ooh. I mentioned that I didn't want to die, and I was told that I was going to help people ascend. What was this about? Okay. So thank you, Glitterbee. Glitterbee, I am going to read Laura, and then I will read you, and then I will read Silly Rabbit. That's the order, and I think I will stop it after that, but you guys can always feel free to hang out, chat with me while I kind of like decompress and kind of turn off my psychic ability. All right. Let me do Laura first, though. You had a dream that I was asked to help people cross over. I mentioned that I didn't want to die, and I was told that I was going to help people ascend. What was this about? First, with any dream that you're talking about where you're getting advice, I'm going to ask who you were talking to, and was that... I immediately heard your higher self. And the thing I like to do, I like to ask that because if we're getting advice from somebody that's not a good spirit, we don't want to listen to that advice. But I heard that was your higher self. You know, it might have looked like somebody else in your dream. Definitely higher self, though. And they're also telling me, I don't think I'll even pull cards for this, but they're also telling me the fact that you mentioned that you didn't want to die meant that you were semi-lucid. And I am going to have a new dreaming video up soon where I do talk about lucidity and just psychic dreaming in general. And because you were kind of like lucid and you were able to think up that, like, they're trying to give that as evidence for that dream being real. Because sometimes, like, we look back at our dreams and we're just like, that was just me being like weird, or that was just my brain just making up things. But they're trying to say the fact that you were able to have that conversation or remember to bring something like that up means that you were, to some extent, aware of what was going on. Going to help people ascend. I'm just going to pull a card. I'm going to ask what we need to know about that. Okay. So I'm hearing, because I got Ride the Wave, and before I pulled this card, I was hearing that it's like a call to action. You can accept or deny the call. And I feel like that's the case with any sort of spirit that comes in. We can have spirit that comes in and says, hey, I want to do this. Perfect example, Moana. So in the movie Moana, where grandma is like, oh, go take the heart of Tafiti and deliver it to wherever. That was, I just looked up at my vision board and realized I have something off my vision board. Cool. Anyway, it's this ring. I looked up and I was like, oh, hey, that ring. Oh, okay, cool. I got that. Anyway. Distraction. Moana. But basically later in the movie, Moana says, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And did the ocean drown her? No. The ocean was like, okay, cool. We will find somebody else. And she obviously later took up that call. But, like, that was the same sort of advice that I was getting, Laura. Like, it's up to you whether you want to help people do that. I think they were just trying to put it in your brain as, like, if you do it, you're going to be really good at it. But the Ride the Wave card to me is sort of saying, like, you might like do it sometimes when you really feel like you're into it, and then other times you might not. Like, I'm not getting that it's something that you should be like offering as like a service 24/7. It more feels like when somebody comes to you in spirit, or when somebody, living comes to you and specifically asks you, maybe that's when you do it. Just do it when you feel called. Because, like, riding the wave, sometimes the waves go in, sometimes they go out, or I should say the tide. It doesn't mean you're going to be doing it 24/7, but there's no reason why you shouldn't do it when you're called to. But don't like have this over your head of like, oh, if I don't do it, I'm not fulfilling my spiritual duties. Like, it's like a call to action is what I'm hearing, but you can accept or deny it. Awesome. Okay, so let me just see. I have no idea what currency this is, so I want to... Okay, that's the South African dollar? Is that what that is? Oh, no, South African rand. That's cool. I just wanted to see how much you donated so I knew how long we were reading to give. All right. Thank you, Glitterbee. Can I please? So that was like $5 equivalent, but I'll just do something short. I should have put 7 USD. I should have put that. Sorry. Let's see. Going through a difficult time. I'll just pull like one card to answer that in general. Just guidance on your marriage right now. I am hearing that it's all about intention. Like, he needs to have his intention of wanting to fix it. You need to have your intention of wanting to fix it. If that's not there, then all the actions following it will reflect that intention. And so I just pulled the Dry Desert card. And this, I just pulled this for somebody else. In regards to our relationship, this is saying like things aren't necessarily good right now. You're going through the desert. You're having to conserve your resources. You're not getting all of your needs and wants met. But it's also saying, again, what I was saying earlier of there is an end. There, you know, this state will not be ever. It will change because that's just the nature of life. Everything is always changing. And so Glitterbee, what I'm hearing, especially with what I was hearing as I was pulling, like this could go either direction. It could get better or it could get worse. And it totally depends on the intention that you're both putting in. If you're here wanting to make it work and he's here wanting to make it work, then it will. But if one of the parties is not on that same boat, then it might not look that way. And so I think maybe to answer your question, any guidance is how can we get each other both on the same page of wanting to make it work? And so to me, it's all about how can I motivate my partner to want to work with me, to want to communicate with me. And you probably know your partner and what works best for them. Maybe it's taking some space and some time, and then it's maybe asking them in a certain way. That's definitely a place that you can start. All right. I feel like with readings like that, it's like I want to go so much. Or I shouldn't say I want to go so much further, but it's like I can go further. And sometimes readings, you need more information from me, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, all right, so Silly Rabbit was our last reading. You got the guessing game reading. I'm feeling tempted to lay down the swords to my ex Miguel. We haven't spoken in a while. He's never reached out first, and I've been wanting him to so that we can have a long overdue talk. Okay, I'm just going to pull a card on what the outcome of that would be. Even though I know that's not your question, but I just want to do it. Okay. Should I wait it out and let him reach out? I immediately heard, yeah, he's not going to. Or will it not happen unless I give him a sign? Yeah, I don't think he's going to. And I think it's because he's a very respectful person. Like, he doesn't want to be seen as like a creep that's just like has no boundaries. You know what I mean? But I did ask what the result is if you reached out. I pulled the Justice card, and this to me is saying, okay. This to me, like this specific card, Justice, is saying that at the very least, you're probably going to be able to say what you wanted to say and feel good that you got that off your chest. But I just remembered that the original Justice card in the original tarot, I wish I could just have them side by side to show you guys, but the original tarot, it's really interesting because there is, I could be wrong, but I'm getting this image and I'm feeling it very strongly, even if it's not the correct one, but I'm pretty sure it's Justice. Now it's going to bug me. Hang on, wait, I'm just going to double check because if I am, I do want to say so. Okay, I am wrong. I am wrong, but I'm seeing another tarot card, and that's more so the point. And the other tarot card, I can't remember what it is, like the name of it, but it's another major arcana card, and there's like an angel in the sky that's blowing a horn, And there's a bunch of people on the ground in coffins that are like waking up from the dead. And that whole card is about second chances and giving life to something for a second chance. So this to me is saying like bare minimum, you're going to get to say what you wanted to say and you're going to feel good that you got it off your chest. Another possibility is that there could be a second life. It could just be that you guys have a friendship again. But there's definitely like a renewal or rebirth, because that card that I'm imagining in my head is like a revival of life. Like this angel's bringing people back from the dead. So when we're thinking about relationships, it's like a second chance in a relationship, possibly. I don't want to get your hopes up, but it's saying that is a possibility if you decide to reach out, versus if you didn't. I don't think any of this would be on the table, because I don't think he's going to. Like literally the reason why he doesn't want to is he doesn't want to be seen as like this creepy guy. Like creepy being like the key word. He doesn't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I think he's definitely thought about it, because I've just pulled making a choice. He's definitely been on the fence about doing it or not. What number do we call? I'm not sure what you're talking about. The Ghostbusters? That's what you could call. An ascended master. I get asked as well when I use my pendulum. Gotcha. No, it's totally fine, Glitterbee. I feel you. I know what that feels like, and it feels like the end of the world sometimes when you're fighting with your partner. Like literally, I don't know if I said it, Glitterbee, but like establish communication and be clear with your intentions. My intention is to fix this. I really want it to be fixed. I want to work with you. I love you. I feel like that in itself can clear the doorways. But if like you're not able to communicate even that, like it's going to be very hard to fix anything, if that makes sense. Bye, Taylor. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, he's stubborn. All right, thanks, Glitterbee. I'm gonna stop reading it there. But just know that you can always reach out to me for another reading. I would say that you could continue to donate tonight, but I am done for the night. I kind of cap it off at a certain time. But again, if any of you want to, you can always reach out to me for a personal reading. I am more than happy to help. He's a creep when it comes to me. Oh, well, but that's an inside joke. That's funny. Of course. Thank you, silly rabbit. Alrighty, you guys. I need chapstick. I put on chapstick so often that my son now puts it on. He always like grabs it and he's like, It's so cute. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm sorry I jumped on so stinking late. I'm glad we didn't have any technical issues. Again, next Tuesday night will be a members only live night, so you can join through Patreon, and then you'll get a link right beforehand, and we will be live. Let's see, this week's video is going to be about boundaries, so keep an eye out for that. One of the perks of being a Patreon member, like at the lowest tier, is that you get early access to those videos. So those of you that are in the Patreon will probably see that boundary video tomorrow, if not Thursday. Depending. We'll see. We'll see how this vet appointment goes tomorrow. I'm hoping for the best, but let's see. Anything else? Patreon, member live. And you guys can follow me on Facebook. We do have a Facebook group as well if you want to learn how to strengthen your psychic abilities. I do have Instagram, TikTok. I want to bring TikTok content back, but I just can't figure out what I want to do there. And then I have a podcast. I'm like updating my little notes here, because if I don't have notes to follow, I will just ramble. And the podcast, I'm trying to upload more content. I originally said that I was going to have a podcast up last weekend, but the whole thing with my cat really just like threw off the entire week, so I never got it recorded. I am still planning on doing that. It's in my queue. But you can definitely catch up on some other podcast episodes. Basically, there I'm talking about things that just don't quite fit on like my YouTube channel. Like it would just be like boring to watch, or it's not even like a how-to video. It's more something personal about what I'm going through. But yeah, that's there for the podcast. Thank you, Silly Rabbit. Good night, Cheyenne. But I think that's it, you guys. Sometimes I write notes and then I read them after. I'm like, what on earth was I trying to say? Oh, I remember. I do. So I want to make a kids vlog about like how to help your kids start their psychic abilities, but I'm putting it off until my son is actually old enough so I can film him while doing it. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm going to sign off so that I have enough time to wind down and have enough time for my self-care. But yeah, I hope you guys all have a fantastic night, and I will see members next week. And then I can't remember when I'm going to be live again for everybody else, but you can check that in my events on my website, in the description. It's always in my link tree no matter where you're at. But awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic night, fantastic week.